Welcome back to Helsing Anime Review Part 2. This one reviewing Helsing the Dawn. Yeah, I didn't realize though how short these episodes were. I read the manga. The manga is interesting for this particular series. And from looks of it, it looks like it's really quick. It's like the first episode is just it looks like the series is focused on the character Walter and of course Alucard during September of 1944. The major, the captain, yeah, those two characters show up, and of course the doctor, who show up in the main series, do show up in this one. Oh, before I continue, there's a few things I forgot to mention from the last episode. Like, first of which, toward the end of the series, in the last episode or two, Alucard for some strange reason turns to a little girl, and I kind of figured out the reasoning for this. Now, the reason why he turned a little girl, and of course Walter turned to a little boy, now that was there to promote the Hellsing the Dawn series, which, as far as I can tell, I thought they had finished adapting a series, but nope. Heck, the series wasn't even finished released yet because here's kind of the thing. Hellsing the Dawn was originally supposed to be just a series published, it was supposed to continue after the main series concluded, but apparently the writer decided not to continue it for some strange reason. Yeah, and do you know how many chapters released for Hellsing the Dawn? 6 chapters. And it was really interesting. I liked the whole concept. Alucard fighting Nazis in World War II. That was an interesting concept. And the fact that, they did have Arthur Helsing, the father of Ingrid Helsing from the main series, pop up in this one as well. In this particular in this OVA, he pops up for roughly one scene, and that's it. Combined, this particular, let's say, OVA is only just combined, I think it's just about a little over 20 minutes. It's basically the same length as an average episode of the series. Now, I don't know why in the world they never bothered to finish adapting. It's like, okay, you watch the series, okay, you see Alucard's coffin for the first for these 3 episodes, and he doesn't show up until the end of episode 3. So wow, you have Alucard, the main protagonist of the series, and you frequently see his coffin, and yet he no-shows most of these episodes, and the only way he shows up is that the blood gets on his coffin. Oh yeah, and mostly put, from what I can tell from these adaptations for these particular 3 episodes, there is very little change. Animation-wise, it's the same thing as is in the manga. It just that there's some few dialogue words different here and there. For one thing, Walter is now referred to the Major as a fat bastard. In the manga, that's what we refer to him as. In the anime, in the sub I watched, he referred to him as Fatty. Yeah, because the Major is overweight. Yeah, that was a recurring thing. That was a minor recurring thing in the main series, was people poke fun of this guy's weight. Yeah, several people poke fun of his weight. As a matter of fact, there's a kid who is a warrant officer who looks like he belongs in Hitler's Youth. That was the warrant officer who kind of looks like a wolf, I think it is. One supposed to be looks like he's a male version of Sanger's Victoria. Excuse me. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, there's actually many references to the Bram Stoker novel. There is at the end of episode 10, if you watch the series, you get a chance to see a skeleton come with metal. Now, who does the skeleton belong to? It said the word Mina on it. Mina, as in Mina Harker, the woman who Dracula turned into a vampire in the original novel. So, even though yes, that in the original novel he was killed by knives, in most depictions of fiction when it comes to killing vampires, it is a stake. Yeah. It is something though that the doctor from the Millennium Group got his hands on Mina Harker's skeleton. And apparently the way he got his hands on her skeleton is that he basically dug up her grave and brought her body to Germany for some strange reason. Yeah, it's kind of like when you watch a series, it's kind of like there was potential to do more with this, and a lot more story to tell if they buy the finish adapting it, and much less even when the manga could buy the finish coming out. But as far as I can tell from the writer right now, he has no interest in it because he's doing a series called Drifters, which started like I look up the release date for this thing. It was like right after he finished up the series Hellsing. Yeah, it seems like right after he finished up Hellsing, he started Drifters. I'm kind of like, okay. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There was another series that the writer did come out with alongside with Hellsing called Crossfire. It was a series of one-shot stories focused on a scary organization, but those were discontinued after releasing 3 chapters. Yeah, that's the weird thing when it comes to this writer. It's like I'm like, um, you want to see him explore more stuff for the Hellsing stuff, but it just seems like he just didn't care. I mean, it seems like he right at the finish of the Hellsing series, which was amazing, by the way. It just seemed like he just didn't care at all. So, with the main story, it's okay. Walter is on a cargo plane. He goes to Warsaw. This is Warsaw, Poland, in September 1944. This is roughly about 3 months after the events of D-Day. So, he goes in there without parachute. Oh, there was this gimmick that Walter had in the series with looks like wires coming out his fingers. Yeah, he does do this in the actual series itself. And he interrupts the Major when he's eating a meal, and he's eating fish. And the way he cuts up his meat is, well, because they have to make a bunch of fat jokes about the guy, so have meat like this big like slice once eat. I'm like, okay. Even the manga, yeah, this is something that apparently the anime and the manga love to do. Half the time you see the Major, he's always eating. And he always takes big chunks of food, which kind of explains why he put on so much weight. Heck, there was a joke that he should have lost weight, and he said, nope, I'm not losing weight. Despite that could improve his health, but oh, by the way, he's probably the only character in the whole series who actually is overweight. And when it comes to villains of manga and anime, he's probably the only villain I have ever seen who actually is overweight when it comes to an anime and manga. Yeah, he's the only one. Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, these particular now I tried look for the dub of Helsing the Dawn, couldn't find it at all. So I watched the sub. Didn't have a really big problem with that at all. It, I mean, it seems like that you can have okay. He breaks into the room. Walter he breaks into a window with Alucard's coffin, and he trades some insults and trades some information with the Major. And of course, Major talks about food. He's like, "Really? I'm threatening you, and you're talking about food." And he tries to attack him, and the captain stops him. Of course, they also have a bunch of German soldiers marching. Walter just massacres them all. Oh yeah, and in the end of episode 2, with the Major saying "Siege Hell," yeah, I'm sorry I have to do this whole Hitler swear thing, but that's basically how the thing ended. And then they have a brief fight which lasts like 2 minutes, and then of course, well, here's the thing with episode 3. It's the fight between Walter and the captain is very brief, like roughly about 3 minutes, because half the episode is just Arthur and a friend of his just drinking at Arthur's apartment, and of course he's inviting women over, and that's really it. The thing ended with a 150-minute preview of another series called Drifters, which I'm gonna because from look at the premise, it looks interesting. I mean, warriors being drawn out of time to fight some other war. That sounds interesting to me. But I'm kind of thinking though, why can't other like with Hellsing getting so much potential that you can develop these characters and spin-off stuff, and yet for some reason it seems like the writer just doesn't care. Either he wanted to, now either he stopped doing this either due to the fact that these books were not selling too well, or the fact that his editor told him, no, I don't know what the reason was for this when it comes to stuff for Helsing. I mean, there's plenty of potential. You could explore like Alucard's adventures. You could tell more stories with Bram Stoker. Oh, I almost forgot about this particular thing that happened in the main series. When Alucard and Walter are fighting, Alucard brings out the Black Hound of Baskervilles. So, did they team up with Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson to fight the Hound of Baskervilles? And did Alucard devour the thing after they briefly fought it? Apparently, that's what it looked like. And then Walter kills in less than a minute. He's like, really? The Black Hound of Baskervilles? Yeah. The thing about that particular story is that story has been adapted like 30 times. Like, if you look up online how many times this book has been adapted, this story has been adapted more times than any other Sherlock Holmes story. Out of all the Sherlock Holmes stories, this one's adapted the most. Yep. So, what else? Not much else to say about Helsing the Dawn. Good series. Just kind of wish they would told a little bit more story than getting cut off and have preview of another series. Which, despite the fact that manga is still going now, yeah, it's been going now for roughly, I think, about 9 years now. Yeah, it's only been going for about 9 years. Yeah, it started back in April 30th, 2009, and they have only released about 70 chapters. I think it's more than that. I'm not really sure, though. Yeah, but the page I'm looking at is not exactly like frequently updating stuff. But Drifter is not interesting for me, the potential for our future something to get into. Alright? So, that's really it for Helsing the Dawn. Good short OVA. So, next in the cover is just the original series, which I'm going to watch at next. And that's really it for Helsing. And then pretty much like right after that, I will definitely cover right after finish the main Helsing series, I'm going to watch My Hero Academia. That'll be the next anime I get into. I will eventually do the OVAs and the shorts, all the rest of stuff from Alchemist. I will do that in the future. But there's some other anime I really want to get into because I'm getting caught up with the manga, so I kind of figured out why not check out the actual main anime. Oh, and I should point this out though, for the current season of My Hero Academia, that's basically where I'm at for the manga. But I'll talk about that more when I get a chance to talk about the anime in the near future. Alright, so until I see my next video, which I have 3 videos. I was planning to do today, but I ran out of time, so I'm going to do these tomorrow. 3 comic corners. Hopefully also the final part of this review series. Talk about Hellsing, talk about the original series. And then maybe I'll start with My Hero Academia after that, okay? Might see you in the next video. Bye.